Good morning and welcome to Camp IT 2020, our virtual live finale. I'm Cherie Stokes, Executive Director of TechMGM, and we're happy to have you join us for today's session. We hope you've been able to take advantage of the video content that we've released on cybersecurity, digital media, esports, and software development. Today, we're going to talk more about the variety of careers in STEM, and you'll also have an opportunity to ask questions. We have all of the speakers from our sessions that will be present on the panel and even an extra speaker. So why do we have Camp IT each year? We want everyone in Montgomery and in the River Region community to be exposed not only to STEM, information technology, computer science, but all of the careers and opportunities that you have available to you, not just here in Montgomery, but nationwide and even globally. So if you have any questions that you may have thought of during the video sessions that you watch, feel free to start entering them in the chat. You're welcome to enter those questions throughout today's presentation, and we look forward to answering them during our panel discussion. So let's delve into some more information about STEM. So we want to talk today not only about what STEM is, but what degree programs are available, where is the money in STEM, but then also what can you do now to start preparing? What's available to you in Montgomery? And you'll also have an opportunity to hear from several individuals that are actually working in STEM career fields in Montgomery right now. And then it's time for your questions. Next chart. So what's STEM? Because you've had an opportunity to listen to the video sessions, I'm sure everyone knows that STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The STEM career fields have grown tremendously over the years. Next chart. But now it's about what degree programs really pay off. Well, you'll see Petroleum Engineering, that's one of the top and highest paid degree programs that are out there. And if you don't know what petroleum engineering is, you'll see it all the time of those individuals that actually work in chemical plants, but do a lot with oil refineries, but then also they do a lot with nuclear engineers too. So not only are engineers on the rise, so are software developers. Next chart. So you've got to ask, where's the money? So many times people believe that the money is in athletics or the money is in music. Well, if you look here, a lot of the average salaries for your athletes, they're astronomical. And they look like that's definitely the way that you want to go. But you also have to look at the percentage of those individuals that have an opportunity to make that much money. If you look at the NBA, the NFL, or even Major League Baseball, where their salaries are so good, but their opportunities are a lot less. And it also, the lifespan that you have within that field is even shorter. The average lifetime for someone to have a career in the NFL is only about 3.5 years. Next chart. So where is the money? Software developers, cybersecurity experts, not only are they on the rise, but even in the state of Alabama, it's already been projected that we are behind and there will be a huge demand for software developers, upwards of 30% more than we have today. Next chart. Now, what can you do right now to start preparing you? If you're not sure what you may want to do, here's the opportunity to use the resources that some of you may use every day. If you use Google or Instagram or even Twitter to check on the latest info, why not check on what jobs are out there? Why not start exploring some of those different career fields? And then also Facebook provides a lot of information. And I know so many of you may have had an opportunity to look at that on a social end, but you can also use these resources to learn more about those career fields in general. Next chart. Now, what's happening in Montgomery and what you have the opportunity to do right now? So while you learned about Montgomery Esports and Gaming, and then we also will talk a little bit about robotics, there's so many other opportunities that are available. In the upcoming weeks, we will start to celebrate National Computer Science Education Week. That's the first week in December. We have activities that are planned for all age levels. One of the things that we're planning for middle schoolers in specific is a glide app design competition. And if you haven't explored Glide before, this is a great opportunity to Google it. But we'll award prizes to those schools and middle school students that actually develop the best Glide app. And it's actually developing your own app without even using code. We also have the TechMGM Raspberry Jam. We partner with CGI, Alpha, the AFCEA Education Foundation, and MGM Works to put on this jam. If you haven't worked with a Raspberry Pi before, Google it, because I'm telling you, it's a great time. And it's a wonderful time to get involved. If you don't have a robotics program at your school right now, do know that Montgomery Best Robotics will put on a competition next weekend. While it's being held at Wetumpka High School, you have the opportunity to actually watch that whole event via live stream. And you can see that at mgmbestrobotics.com. So do know, not only can you visit our sites, but there are loads of other activities that you can get involved in right now, which exposes you to STEM areas, but also exposes you to career fields for the future. Next chart. We talked about National Computer Science Education Week, and another really fun opportunity that we have, and we're releasing this today, is that we will do a Rocket League esports tournament. That'll be held on Saturday, December 12th, and it's 100% virtual. Your school can enter as many teams as you like, and it's a 3v3 competition. Hopefully you're now aware that Rocket League is one of the few games that's actually been adopted in the Alabama High School Athletic Association for esports. So if you're thinking that your school may want to have a team, why not enter and play and see what playing Rocket League competitively is like? Stay tuned on our website for more details and how to register for that upcoming tournament. Next chart.
Hey everyone, I'm Master Sergeant Rebecca Hogue, and I'm an information technology professional in the United States Air Force. I've been in the Air Force for about 13 years, and within those 13 years, I've had the opportunity to travel all around the world and go be stationed at 5 different bases. While at those different bases, I've had the jobs of basic computer maintenance. I've worked as a server administrator, such as email or even Active Directory onto our domain. And then I've also worked in an air operations center where I maintain the systems that the B-52 bombers use to put bombs on targets. That right there opened my eyes on how powerful we are as a nation. Fast forward to right now, I'm at the Business Enterprise System Product Innovation Team, also known as BESPIN. Key in on that, product innovation. They do things such as build mobile and web applications using the Android or iOS platforms. They work in Cloud One and Platform One to build everything off, and all these applications help support our men and women in the United States Air Force. So take advantage of the training that you are getting as a STEM student. Work with people, meet people, network, get the certifications. In the end, stay grounded, stay focused, and good luck.
Hey y'all, my name is Sloan. I'm a sophomore computer information systems major at Alabama State University. And I feel like IT is cool for a number of reasons. One reason being that you really have no limits with IT. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to feel restricted with IT. You can do many things. You can go from wanting to build your own PC to even wanting to learn the coding side of things and build your own website or create your own video game. It's truly something that can take you a long way, and you don't ever have to feel like you're being bored with something, because it's always something in the technology field that can be better, that can be updated, or something that you just may feel like made everyday life better. So that's one reason, that's a couple of reasons why I think that IT is cool.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and I'm a user researcher and designer with Skylight Digital. What I do is I spend a lot of time with users getting to understand their pain points, what their needs are, what challenges that they're facing, so that when I'm presented with any challenge, I can fully understand what motivates them and build the right solution for users. This makes it a very, very cool job because I spend a lot of time with people that have problems that they need solutions for. And instead of traditionally going and just building something for people, because I think I know what they want and they need, I spend the time up front to get to know them and to understand what could potentially work for them. And I test it before I fully build it out. And that gives me the opportunity to build the right thing for the people that I'm working on behalf of. If you want to get involved in this career path, you just need to be a really empathetic person, interested in technology, and just be very, very curious. And you just have to learn how to ask the right questions.
My name is Damian Wilkerson, and I'm currently a manager and a board-level technician at XI Repair. I currently work on phones, computers, tablets, game consoles every single day. I'm a student at AUM, and I'm majoring in computer information systems in the business field. I chose IT mainly because I knew that technology was never going anywhere. I mean, it's been here for years and years, and it will be here for more years to come. I chose IT because also it's a passion to me. I believe that if you work in a field that you love, you'll never feel like you're working at all. I chose IT also mainly because, I mean, it pays very well for one, and it will continue to pay very well as those people who are currently losing their jobs to robots, well, they'll need somebody to work on those robots as well. So when I tell people, I always tell people IT is limitless. IT has no limits, as if you can work on motherboards and the small chips that are on them, all the way on to working into the next spaceship that's going to be launched into space. So as I encourage you to choose a field in the STEM field, which is the science, technology, engineering, and math, I also tell you to choose something that you're going to love and that's never going to feel like a job at all. So like I tell everyone, IT is limitless. LIM, capital I, capital T, list.
So now you've heard a little of some of the individuals that we have that are in Montgomery that are doing some great work in IT and in STEM areas. So let's get to our panel discussion. You've met our awesome panelists within the video content sessions, but I'd also like you to meet our co-host and my co-moderator, Mr. Eric Sloan. Eric is a local CEO here, and I'll let him say hello and introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Sloan, President and CEO of OneSync Technologies, and also the Director of the Education Foundation for AFCEA Montgomery Chapter. It's a pleasure to be here and look forward to co-hosting this event.
Thanks, Eric. From CGI, we have Jonathan Cordes.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Cordes, and I'm a director in our Birmingham office at CGI. We're a IT consulting firm that spans the globe with about 75,000 members, all working on our clients' projects to build and deliver new software that really helps make the world go around.
Awesome. We also have from MGM Works, Joyce Vaughn.
Hello, everybody. I am Joyce Vaughn, the Marketing and Events Manager for MGM Works. I am glad to be here today, and I had the privilege of hosting the digital media portion of Camp IT. MGM Works, we work in contact with Air University to solve problems and create challenges. Well, not create challenges, to solve their challenges, but I'm glad to be here today and chit chat with you all.
Thanks, Joyce. And from Montgomery Esports and Gaming, Chance Crawford.
Hi, I'm Airman First Class Chance Crawford. I'm an active duty software developer for Bespin, and I also organize and run the tournaments for MGM Esports and Gaming.
Glad to have you here. And last but not least, from Fearless, Bryant Knoll.
Good morning, everybody. So As Sheree said, I work with Fearless, and I'm here in Montgomery supporting the Bespin initiative as well as an Agile coach. In the past, I was with the military and worked in cybersecurity, as you saw in the videos earlier. I'm excited to be here and looking forward to addressing any of the questions that you have.
Thanks a lot, Brian. All right, so our first couple of questions, and I'm gonna pick on Joyce first. What's the most fun aspect of your job right now?
Well, for me, I'm an artsy person, so I take the STEAM, portion, add a little artsy to it. But the best part of my job, I think, is that it's always changing and it's something different and something challenging every day. Also, too, I get to use, I think, my full skill set, which is something that I said in the little video portion that we did for Camp IT, is that, yes, I get to do the artistry and the fun stuff and the creative, but also it's a really big portion of analyzing data and making sound decisions. So I think that's the best part of my job right now.
All right. Chance, what about you? Even though you do Montgomery Esports and Gaming, that's not necessarily your job. Your job as a software developer with Bespin. What's the most fun aspect of your job?
So I really like to code. There's always there's a challenge to it, right? So it's like solving problems and whatnot. And then of course, tech is always advancing so fast. So learning new tools to do things better with that code. But under it all, I just really like to code a lot. So.
Good deal. I don't know that we hear people that just say how much they love to code so often. So it's always refreshing to hear that and to know that people still really enjoy doing that. Same question for you, Brian.
So absolutely. Inside the Bespin environment, I don't write very much code anymore. I'm in a coaching position for all of the personnel and trying to enable them. So a lot of the fun that I have in the job is to have all of those motivated individuals, as Chance mentioned, that love to code and that love to solve problems, and to help facilitate them toward that value-driven solution and to help them accomplish their desires and the Air Force's desires.
All right, good deal. Now here's a tough question, and I'm gonna hit you first, Jonathan. What class did you take in high school or maybe in college that you didn't think you would use in your career, but you were so happy that you took it because you actually used it and you really needed it?
So that's a very interesting question because obviously when you're taking your fundamental IT and computer courses, you know those are what is going to drive what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. But really, I think the classes that surprise you are more along the humanities, right? And it doesn't have to be just business, right? Because you always think of the business classes, okay, that can drive you and help your understanding of how your clients are looking at you and how the people you talk to who aren't necessarily developers are going to think about the world. But honestly, the one that is universal to all of that are your social sciences and, for example, a psychology course can teach you not how to be a professional psychologist, but it makes you start opening up your brain and thinking about how other people are approaching problems and how to communicate with them and how they think. Because one of the things that has always been challenging for people that are in technology or in our IT are when you go and talk to someone, you want to talk about the things you know. You want to talk about the technology. You want to talk about the code because it's just so fun. And it might go completely over the head of someone who says, that's not what I do for a living. But if you can talk to them and figure out how they do their job and what kind of problem they're trying to solve, you can put yourself in their shoes. And that's where you really start building that solution about, okay, if I was this person and I was sitting in front of a computer screen or my phone and looking at an app I'd never used before, how would I expect this to work? And when you can start putting those two things together, that's when the magic really happens.
So I'd have to totally agree with you, Jonathan, on that. And someone asked me that question recently. And for me, it was a public speaking class. So while I completely didn't want to take that class in high school or in college, I absolutely dreaded it. I will tell you, I needed it and I use it all the time. no matter what my job has been, and even having an engineering background and engineering education,
Mhm.
public speaking and those communication courses are courses that have been invaluable for me.
Absolutely.
So, Eric, this question is for you. How old were you when you knew what you wanted to be and what you wanted to do? And then what shaped that decision for you?
How old was I? Great question, because I'm still trying to figure that out. But I say I initially started maybe in high school. I was introduced to my initial IT course where we were doing, I guess, the introductory to software development. And at the time, I was like, man, I don't want to be in this class. This is crazy. Couldn't stand the teacher, but it was probably the best class that I had ever taken. And then that just introduced me to so many other things as it relates to IT and business and everything else that's associated. Not sure if that 100% answered your question. From
No,
the
it
standpoint,
did.
but-
It definitely did. Same question for you, Joyce.
I like that question, and it's kind of similar in the answer. I mean, I'm still discovering, what I want to do and things like that. But I would say I knew early on, and that I like working with people. I knew that I liked artistry and design. And then as I kind of kept going in school and professionally, I figured out that I like numbers. I like to look at numbers and data and figure out what they're telling me, what predictions I can make, getting that kind of feedback and making solid decisions. So I think probably actually after college is when I kind of discovered that. My undergrad degree is not related to anything that that is going on right now. So probably after college is when I figured out that all of my passions could fit together in something called marketing, which would allow me to do the artsy part, would allow me to do the analytical part as well.
All right. Bryant, same question for you.
Oh, definitely in high school. At some point, and about probably around the middle of high school, I realized that these computer things are pretty cool. I really enjoy this part of things, and I thought early on I was going to be writing a lot of code, and that was going to be the thing that I loved to do. And I did that for a long while, and that was really exciting and awesome. But over time, I've come to realize that I really enjoy working with people, and tying back to what you and Jonathan had mentioned about public speaking and means of communication and how to engage on those courses are invaluable.
Good deal. So here's my next question, and I'm going to target you, Chance. What would you tell your 8th grade self, knowing what you know now?
Do and don't stop tearing apart your mom's computer. Because I learned a lot doing that. So I guess there's two things I tell them is A, don't be so overconfident with your knowledge, right? In the latter part of high school, academics came easy and I slacked off. And while I did do well, I could have excelled if I'd focused more. And then the other thing would be the big thing would be going out of my way to further my education. I was fine with just taking the courses and whatnot that I was told to take or that I signed up for, but I never tried to really genuinely expand that knowledge outside of that. And if I could go back and tell my younger self now, I probably would be a lot more skilled in software development. And I probably it would have opened up the opportunities I would have had a lot more as well. So definitely that.
Good deal. Jonathan, same question for you. What would you tell your 8th grade self?
Oh, so many things. So many things. But I would say to my 8th grade self, you're going to have a lot of interests going forward. Keep yourself open to all of them because you never know what is going to pique your interest and bring you the most satisfaction. When I was in 8th grade, I had no idea I was going to be in IT. I wasn't blessed enough to know that I wanted to tear apart my mom's computer and that was going to be the life going forward. I didn't find that out until I was in college. But what I think I was blessed in was I kept my options open, and I would say, be observant as to not only what you like to do, but how what you like to do affects those around you and can affect the world around you as well. Because the thing about going from 8th grade into high school is you're not just working on this year anymore. You're starting to build your career, and that's intimidating. And every piece of experience you can get is going to be beneficial to you. If you want to try out to be the captain of a sports team, try out for the captain's position. If you want to try to be the drum major of the band, try out for the drum major, even if it's not the thing you want to do. If you're not that great at art, but you want to join the art club, do it. Right? There's no wrong answers there, and you never know what's going to pop up that you're going to fall in love with. You don't have to make a decision now, but you do have to keep your view expansive across everything that could potentially be of interest to you.
Great advice from all of you. And you mentioned a couple of things that actually sparks another question for me. And I'll shoot this one to Eric. Did you play sports in school, middle school or high school or college? And if you did it help you in your STEM career?
No, I play no sports at all. No, just joking. No, but I played sports essentially throughout my life, probably from 5, 6 years old, from baseball to track to football, basketball, and every other sport that was out there. I think I was very involved from that aspect, but I think at an early age, I knew that it was still more than just sports. Even though I could play sports, I still wanted to do other things. I know one of the questions you were saying, what would you tell your earlier self? Fail early. Don't be afraid to fail, because as you fail, then you're going to learn quite a bit from that. And I think in my failing from a sports standpoint, of course, playing video games and having at the time a very bad temper, you kind of throw your remote control and break it a couple of times, and your parents just bought you one. So once you break it, that's probably going to be your backside. That's probably going to be broken a little bit. So I had to figure out some things as far as, hey, let me take this apart and let me fix it to make sure it's working right, because you don't want to tell your mom and dad those things. But telling, I guess, a long story to bring it back to sports, some of the things that I learned, the camaraderie, the teamwork aspect, it doesn't matter how much you know or how much you can do, you still need a team that you can work with and collaborate with, because you can only get yourself so far. And I say, even right now in business, the team around you is what's going to be instrumental in you making it to the next level, or you staying stagnant or at a constant pace.
I think being able to work as a team, also to collaborate, having those opportunities to innovate and generate new ideas is something that we've done before, but now more than ever, we're doing it so much more often. I think people are realizing due to COVID-19 limitations that we're having to operate in a different way. And we're seeing such a heavy influence in information technology, in computer science, in the ability to operate virtually. How has COVID-19 limitations or just the changes in 2020 changed your job, maybe your day-to-day? And I throw that to you first, Brian.
Definitely. So with my job, a lot of it has to be involved with facilitating meetings, facilitating conversation, and trying to get everybody on the same page. And of course, that's harder in a virtual environment. How do you do that? Think about your group projects for class. It's not an individual event, it's all a group event. Everything that you do from this point forward is going to require a team to accomplish, because you can accomplish so much more as a group than as an individual. And how do we encourage that? That's been a big shift with all the remote work that we've been doing. And much like the students in classrooms, we've been trying to use a bunch of different technology solutions to solve for that, whether it's virtual whiteboards to start the conversation, or Zoom to have these face-to-face communications to really encourage that communication and the collaboration in it.
How about you, Jonathan?
I think Brian hit the nail on the head when he was talking about communication, right? We're in IT, so we are used to being able to talk and collaborate over great distances. And honestly, those of you watching here, I know that we are raised on the generation where our primary communication device is text, and we are just so quick to just dash off a text message when we need to communicate. But there's sometimes, especially if there's any type of question or miscommunication between it, that you need that human touch. Now, before COVID, when we were all sitting together and I had a question for you, I could just go and I could knock on your office door and say, hey, let's talk about this, right? And it was so easy because we were all right there together and we could just get together and we could pull someone else in who needs it. And you have to realize now that we're all working remotely, that impulse to say, I just want to talk to someone, still do that. Don't just dash off a text message sometimes. Actually reach out and say, I'm going to do a video call or a Zoom call or whatever you need to do so that I can look you in the eye and we can talk face to face and we can figure out a problem together. And I'm not just some lines of text on a screen. It's so important to keep that human connection between us. And it's something that I think we're all struggling with, but we're all figuring out. Because even once this COVID is over, I don't know how many, especially in IT, how many jobs are going to go back to 40 hours a week in the office among everybody else. I think a lot of this remote work is here to stay for a while. Now we'll get back together and we'll still go out to lunch and we'll still have some meetings, but keeping that human touch while we're continuing to be remote is going to be so important. So you can practice that now. Keep in touch with your friends, and not just through a text conversation or through a video game, but actually put yourselves on a group chat and do something virtually if you can't get together. Stay in touch with your friends because you're going to have them for the rest of your life. And that's not just in IT, that's just for everything.
Awesome answer. All right, so here's our closing question, and it's a tough one for everyone. Give me one word that describes the career field that you're in that would encourage an 8th grade student to want to seek that career. And I'll start just to give you guys a chance to brainstorm and think of what your response may be. The one word that I would use to describe my career field would be ever-changing. And I like the fact that it's ever-changing because it always makes me challenge myself. I have new obstacles and I'm learning all the time. Brian, over to you.
Oh, I'm struggling. I got two. Can't narrow it down. I'd probably go with agility. And the reason that I would go with agility is that, as you mentioned, everything is always changing. And that's part of the role that I have as one of the Agile coaches here, is to help those teams handle whatever new play they need to run to get that ball further down the field. And whatever that takes is part of the agility that must be a requirement of my role. So helping them come up with, as a team and self-organizing around their problem, a solution for that.
Good answer. Joyce?
I would say exciting. I mean, it's simply because each day is different. There's a new problem, a new challenge to solve. And every day I come to work and every day I look at something, it's always something that's calling on me to get better, to learn more, and to challenge myself. So I would say exciting.
Awesome answer. Chance?
I'd have to say adaptable. Software development hits so many different things. It's that there's different challenges that require different tool sets in a sense. So the languages that I use for the project I work on currently are completely different from the languages that I use for other side projects and whatnot, because it just fits the need better. And if there's anything in between that doesn't do what I want, then I can adapt by writing something up like custom that I need. And that is something that's almost like a mantra that has shaped the tech industry in terms of software engineering, development, cybersecurity, et cetera, is that we always are not just know that we need to adapt to things, but we have to adapt to things, or you're just left in the dust. So adaptable, I feel, is a pretty good term.
All right, Jonathan.
I would have to say creation for mine, because in my mind, one of the best feelings of the field of software development is you can start with a blank cursor on day one, and in a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, you can have something that is showing up on your computer screen that you built, and you're the one who knows everything about it. And that application can go out to literally millions of people who get to use it. There aren't a whole lot of careers where you get to do that, where you get to take something that is from nothing to something that thousands or even more people can use. And it doesn't matter if it's an application that's incredibly exciting or something that's even, not as fun to talk about. If you built it, you just get that enormous sense of pride and ownership in what you built and watching people interact with it and use it. There's no other feeling like it. And it's a somewhat unique thing we get to do in the IT and software development industry.
Great one. And last but not least, Eric.
I guess I would say exhilarating. And I say exhilarating from the standpoint, not from an IT aspect, but from an entrepreneur aspect. From that aspect, there's so many things that you can do. You can stimulate not only your mind, but stimulate your community, stimulate your business, stimulate your ecosystem. It's so many things that you can do from an entrepreneur standpoint, but then also from an IT standpoint. So I guess exhilarating is probably the word I would use, because one, what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you're putting in an effort, from a sports analogy, then you get in what you put out. So if you're going to put in something and then you get out the outcome that you're looking for, then guess what? Out of that, you're going to be happy. You're going to be excited. You're going to feel like you just won the NBA championship, or just won the World Series, or the things that you are striving to become or to be. So that's why I use exhilarating as my word.
So we'll say everything from agility to being adaptable, the creation, exhilarating, ever-changing, and exciting career fields that we've talked about in STEM today. I'd like to thank all of the panelists that we had today. Not only do I appreciate your support and helping to create the videos that we released, but also answering questions for so many 8th grade students within the community to have a better understanding of the wide array and vast variety of career fields that exist, not just here in Montgomery, but all over the globe. It's important for us to expose as many students as we can to STEM areas in general, and to ensure that we're recruiting them to come and join us in what we do every day. Now, I hope to see not only our panelists, but our students at more of the events that we'll have throughout the year. Please stay tuned to our techmgm.com website, and you'll find more information about National Computer Science Education Week activities that are coming up, but then also other opportunities that you can get involved in throughout the Montgomery and River Region community. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your weekend. Thanks again.